honestly, man, Prigozhin owes me reparations because I was, I didn't sleep because of this goddamn, whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, they're saying it was a coup. It wasn't a coup. But, I reported on it. I covered it. Now let's deal with the aftermath. What's happened subsequently. Here's Putin giving his, shall we say, second speech, because he gave one in the immediate aftermath. But this was afterwards when he was thanking the Russian armed forces and where he made clear the conditions under which Wagner can exist or shall exist, if at all.
Благодарю тех солдат и командиров группы «Вагнер», которые приняли единственно правильное решение. Не пошли на братоубийственное кровопролитие. Остановились у последней черты. Сегодня у вас есть возможность продолжить службу России, заключив контракт с Министерством обороны или другими силовыми органами. Либо вернуться к своим родным и близким. Кто хочет, сможет уйти в Белоруссию. Данное мною обещание будет исполнено. Повторю, выбор.
Right, so this goes back to what I was telling you guys. I knew this was going to cause some trouble when I was telling you about this a few weeks ago. I knew something was going to come. I didn't make any predictions or something, but I told you guys this is a power struggle right now, because the contracts, when Shoigu, the defense minister, when he is saying you have to sign this, and then Putin is backing him up, it's for real. Putin is basically there to say, don't screw around with me and stop wasting my time. You have a deadline. You signed this contract and Wagner is gone. You are fully incorporated into the Russian military. When that happened, that was clear that from the beginning, Prigozhin was saying, no, we're not signing it. He doesn't have a choice anymore. Putin is not speaking to Prigozhin here. Prigozhin is a done deal. He's exiled to Belarus, finished. He's lucky to even go there, right? As we were just saying. Now Putin is talking to the fighters. So if we take Prigozhin at his word, he was saying 25,000. Okay, let's say 25,000. Whether that, that's an exaggeration or it's a conservative estimate, doesn't matter. Putin is speaking to these 25,000. He's saying, if you want, you can keep fighting, and you don't even have to. He's not even saying the military necessarily. He said other law enforcement agencies, whatever that means. It's a very, it's a broad term here. What does he mean? Like prison guards or highway traffic cops? I don't know. It could be anything, but he's giving them basically a way out. And then he's also saying you can go back to your families. And he also says Belarus. Maybe one of you, maybe some of you who are Russian speakers can tell me exactly how he said it, because it's not clear. And to this very minute where I'm streaming to you guys, I tried looking this up. There has been no further comment other than this. It's not clear whether Putin is saying you can take your families and go to Belarus if you don't want to join the army, or you can go back to your families in Russia, and you have the third option of going to Belarus, right? So join the army, go back to home to your families in Russia, or go to Belarus. I'm not sure what he means with these last two options. If he means take your families and go to Belarus, or you can stay in Russia and or Belarus. I hope that's clear. Maybe some of you can clear it up. Just being Russian native speakers, how he put it, because language is everything. Let me play the rest of this, what he's saying here, because here he thanks Lukashenko.
Признательны президенту Беларуси Александру Григорьевичу Лукашенко за его усилия и вклад в мирное разрешение ситуации. Но повторю, именно патриотизм.
Right, so I'm interrupting him because a lot of you guys in the comments are saying that he meant all three. Thank you. I appreciate you guys clearing that up, because the nuance and language is very important. So yeah, just to from what you guys are telling me, then you have all three options, because you see with Prigozhin being now in Belarus, you have some Baltic states that are complaining, right? Let me show you from Reuters. Latvia and Lithuania are asking for NATO to strengthen its eastern borders in response to expectations that Russia's Wagner will set up a new base in Belarus. Okay? The Latvian foreign minister said, quote, "This move needs to be assessed from a different security point of view. We have seen the capabilities of those mercenaries." So let me introduce you now to another theory that people have. And I have to pull up the map so you can see this, okay? You have some people, again, this is pure speculation. It's pure speculation. So whether it's true or not, we'll see in good time. But here, let me show you what they're saying. You see here, Belarus is to the north of Ukraine. Okay, I hope you can see my pointer clearly, my cursor. Belarus is to the north of Ukraine. So, you know, but instead of being here, down here in Donbass, now they've kind of flanked, you know, from the east, they've flanked the Ukrainian forces up to the north. So some people are saying, well, this is actually, it's a ruse, you know. Prigozhin is still, he's cool with the Kremlin, they're on good terms, and he's going to go set up camp up there. In any case, it's enough for as you can see, some of NATO member states to you know, to be alarmed. Now, once again, I have no clue whether this is true or not. If it is, it's quite smart. But again, this is pure speculation. If it's true, though, yeah, it's not a bad idea from a military point of view, you know, from strategy, because ostensibly on the surface, you would think that Wagner is finished, because Putin is very clearly saying you either you join the Russian armed forces or other law enforcement, or you're done. You go back to civilian life. You go home to your families. You can also go to Belarus. What does that mean exactly, right? We'll see in good time. But I'm just making you aware of what some NATO countries are hinting at. Okay. Let me show you also, this is a clip from the same speech from Putin, and it's important because, you know, we were speculating and trying to find out when I was covering this. I was telling you that, you know, so far there have been no clashes, and Prigozhin himself is saying we stopped this, you know, justice march, or march for justice as he called it. You know, he stopped this because he didn't want to spill any Russian blood. Well, it turns out some Russian blood has been spilled.
Благодарю всех наших военнослужащих, сотрудников правоохранительных органов, специальных служб, которые встали на пути у мятежников, сохранили верность долгу, присяге и своему народу. Мужество, самопожертвование павших героев-летчиков
So you see he mentions pilots.
Берегли Россию от трагических, разрушительных последствий.
And now he says he's basically, you know, he's trying to butter up people in Wagner and say, I know you're not traitors, and you know. But my point here is that they shot down a helicopter from what I, you know, from what we know up until this point. Wagner shot down a Russian armed forces helicopter. Okay, and it's not clear how many people were in the helicopter, but at least the pilots that he's mentioning. And now I'm going to give you Prigozhin, because we didn't hear anything from Prigozhin, right? He was, when I say we didn't hear anything, there was no rant or speech, like he, you know, in his usual fashion and manner. But now he put out an 11-minute voice, voice clip, an audio clip, a voice memo, and he put that out on Telegram. And this is what he said. Okay, so because as usual, I want to give you both sides of, you know, of each side of every story.
Марш мы начали из-за несправедливости. По дороге на земле мы не убили ни одного солдата. За сутки не дошли всего 200 километров до Москвы, зашли и полностью взяли под контроль город Ростов. Мирные жители были рады нас видеть. Мы показали мастер-класс, каким образом должно было выглядеть 24 февраля 2022 года. У нас не было цели свержения существующего режима и законно избранной власти, о чем много раз говорилось. Развернулись мы для того, чтобы не проливать кровь русских солдат.
Okay, so again, keep in mind, this is according to the Ukrainians, so take it with a pinch of salt, just because they're not, you know, the Ukrainians don't have access to Russia's internal, briefs and reports. And so, just to tell you, according to the Ukrainians, Wagner shot down 6 Russian helicopters and killed 13 Russian soldiers. Again, I don't know if that's, and look, 25,000 strong, and with all the funding that they've received, which I'm going to show you in a second, how much funding Wagner received in just 1 year. It's definitely possible, but is it true? I'm just telling you what the Ukrainians are saying. I don't think the Russians officially, the defense ministry put out these figures. So take it with a pinch of salt, but definitely Putin himself is saying they killed some Russian pilots, which is, that's not what Prigozhin said he wanted, but it's very serious. It's very serious. Take a look at how much they were funded, to the tune of how much they were funded.
Держание всей группы Вагнер полностью обеспечилось государством. Из Министерства обороны, из государственного бюджета мы полностью финансировали эту группу. С мая 22 года по май 23 на денежное содержание и стимулирующие выплаты государство заплатило компании «Вагнер» 86 миллиардов 262 миллиона рублей.
I mean, that's enormous, right? That is enormous. Here's Lavrov, the foreign minister. Look at what he said.
Оценки минской роли даны были уже давно лично президенту Лукашенко, который, как Дмитрий Песков объяснил неоднократно и подробно, высказался в телефонном разговоре с президентом Путиным в субботнее утро, постараться разрешить эту ситуацию миром, избежать большого кровопролития, которое неизбежно произошло бы в случае, если бы отряды мятежников продолжали движение на Москву. Это предложение было поддержано президентом Путиным, и результат вам известен, о нем объявлено еще вчера представителем Кремля. Оценки.
Here's another clip.
Если доказательства того, что ни украинская, ни западные разведслужбы не были никак замешаны в восстании?
Я работаю в ведомстве, которое не занимается сбором доказательств.
Lavrov is such a diplomat. Come on, spit it out, man. Just spit it out. Spit the answer. This is the problem with diplomats. They're very good at... He's one of the best at what he does.
Доказательств о совершаемых противоправных действиях, но у нас есть такие структуры, и, уверяю вас, они уже в этом разбираются.
Yes.
I mean, look, again, very simply, I don't think, because the question was, do you think there's a Western intelligence agency that had any part in this? Of course. That doesn't mean they started it necessarily, but do you really think MI6 and CIA and all and Mossad, they just stood there and let things happen? No, that's what they tell you officially from the State Department, and the State Department, all the people in this working there were briefed to shut up about this because they didn't want to look like they're pulling or lending their support to one side or the other. But yeah, of course they're going to exploit the situation. The Russians would do the same, and vice versa. Of course, that's their job. But that doesn't mean that we don't have proof of that. Okay, we're just speculating. Let me tell you another thing, because if we go back to what the Baltic states are saying, okay. There seems to be this idea that Putin and Prigozhin have this good cop, bad cop strategy. Do you know what that means? That means when you're in trouble with the police, one of the cops is going to be nice to you, and the other cop is going to be very mean to you and very is going to try and upset you and put you on edge. And then the other cop, the good cop, so-called good cop, is going to come as and approach you as some kind of savior, and then extract information or get what they want from you, whatever it is. Okay. Now, again, anything is possible at this point. Everybody's just speculating. Is this true that Wagner are going to go set up in Belarus and then have a flank on have Ukraine's northern flank covered? Who the hell knows? Here's another thing that I would add to this is that Russia already put nuclear weapons in Belarus. Do you really need Wagner to complete the whole thing? The nuclear weapons matter way more than Prigozhin and his 25,000. Do you understand? We know for a fact that the Russians put nuclear weapons to Ukraine's north. That is all that matters. Whether Wagner comes in addition, maybe. Okay, that's an added bonus, but it's not the defining factor of whether, you know, they've got Ukraine's eastern and northern flanks covered, okay, from a military perspective. So I just wanted to kind of give you a wrap up of you know, a brief of what happened right after, because you know, it's again, as I said the other day, what was the point of all this? In the end, they still have to sign these contracts or they go back to civilian life. I mean, again, whether they do this in Belarus undercover, who the hell knows, man? No one knows that for sure. We really don't know that for sure. You know, anything is possible, but let's leave it at that. Because Prigozhin, he himself is definitely in Belarus. He's not coming back for now. At least not ostensibly. Now, whether you have 25,000 people going there, trust me, if they do that, you will be the first to know, and I'll be the first to come tell you. But you know, that's not going to go and happen unnoticed. And the nuclear weapons are the most important thing. In case you were wondering, you know, what's the strategy here? Do they have Ukraine's flank, you know, their northern flank covered? Yeah, they already do. This is quite a while.